Picturesque villages, traditional food, top quality wine, one nature park. These are all features of the Croatian region of Baranya. My name is Tomislav. As a local guide, I happen to know where the best kept secrets are. So stay tuned and discover the top 10 things you can do in this region. If you're fond of history, you might start by exploring 4 manors which are spread across Baranya. The oldest one is the manor in Bilje, which used to serve as a hunting lodge. The first owner of this palace was the Austrian Prince Eugene of Savoy, who used to come here for hunting. The palace is currently in a bad shape, but it's supposed to undergo a major renovation soon. The manor in Darda used to belong to the Hungarian nobleman, the Esterházy family, but it has been devastated since the Croatian War of Independence. Luckily, the manor in Kneževo still has a function, although it has also seen better days. It houses the archives of the company Belje. The Tickli Manor used to be a popular meeting place for the Habsburgs and later the Yugoslav royal family Karađorđević. It's no surprise that the President Tito just went on with their tradition during the communist period. However, the relationship between the manor and the rulers didn't end with Tito. In April 1991, Franjo Tuđman and Slobodan Milošević, the presidents of the Yugoslav Federal Republics of Croatia and Serbia, also met here to discuss the ongoing Yugoslav crisis. Several months later, this entire complex was devastated in a brutal war. Only these trees have remained the witness to their discussions. In the manor complex, there are also a hunting lodge, an old chapel, and an educational center which offers accommodation for smaller groups. In the near future, the manors of Baranya might even get a better position on the list, as 2 of them are undergoing renovation. Number 9 brings us to exploring more historic sites. The most attractive one is located in a village called Batina. This monument is dedicated to the victims of a fierce battle from World War II. In 1944, units of the Soviet Red Army and the Yugoslav partisans pushed out the Nazis from this place. The memorial was put up to commemorate nearly 1,300 victims. The view from the monument stretches to 3 countries: Croatia, Serbia across the Danube, and Hungary in the north. In addition, another memorial to the Soviet Red Army stands in Beli Manastir, the only town in the region. There are even older historic monuments across Baranya, some of which date back to the Habsburg period. One of those is the Roman Catholic Church near the village of Topolje. It is the oldest church in Baranya, unusual in having no tower. Its solitary location in the middle of a field has encouraged different legends throughout history. Having explored historic landmarks, it's time to do something slightly adventurous. An obvious starting point for your adventures is Zlatna Greda. It is an example of how one good idea can revive a forgotten settlement in the middle of a thick forest. Ever since the eco-center Zlatna Greda was open, school kids and families have brought new life to this place. If you have kids, they will probably love its adrenaline park. Even if hanging on the zip line is not exactly your cup of tea, you can explore walking trails, rent a bike or a kayak, indulge in a good meal, or just bring a blanket for a picnic. Aside from Zlatna Greda, several other places in Baranya offer activities like horseback riding, fishing, and off-road adventures where you get knee-deep in mud. I'm sure everyone will find something for their taste. You can continue your adventures by tasting something highly unusual. If you're into tasting local delicacies that you don't have at home, you might enjoy Čvarak Fest in the village of Karanac. It takes place in November, and it's a great opportunity to realize how the times have changed. The focal point of this festival is Čvarak, a delicacy made of pork lard. In the past, it used to be a meal of the poor, but now a kilo of čvarci costs about 15 euros. By the way, they go excellent with wine and rakia. At the festival, you can taste and buy other delicacies as well, or explore sales exhibitions of local handicrafts. Number 6 is actually intertwined with the previous one. Even if you visit the village of Karanac when there is no Čvarak Fest, you surely won't leave disappointed. Several households in the village have opened their doors to visitors, and different households offer different programs. Generally, wherever you go, you can enjoy traditional setting, you can show your kids domestic animals, or just sit with a glass of wine. It's no miracle that many Croatian companies organize team buildings there. Tourism in Karanac started right here at Baranjska Kuća, a restaurant with an open-air exhibition of crafts and products from the past. Karanac is also an example of a multi-ethnic and multi-confessional community, so don't be surprised to see 3 churches in such a small village. It's easy to recognize the Calvinist church, the Roman Catholic church, and the Serbian Orthodox Church. You can also spend the night in Karanac and choose from traditional style objects to more modern ones. Rural tourism is developed in other villages too, and it often gives you an opportunity to be welcomed into a family home. However, if you'd rather stay in a 4-star hotel, Baranya offers two possibilities. There is the Hotel Lug in the eponymous village, which is decorated in a retro style. And there is the modern Hotel Patria in the town of Beli Manastir. Many of these accommodation places offer renting a bike, so activity number 5 is logically cycling. Riding a bike is a nice way to catch a glimpse of Baranya's wild side. Even if you're not a passionate cyclist, riding a bike shouldn't be too demanding, as the terrain is mostly flat. An international bike route, Eurovelo 6, crosses this region, and so do 2 cross-border trails. One of them is known as the Pannonian Peace Trail, which connects the towns of Osijek in Croatia and Sombor in Serbia. This route was designed to promote cooperation and tolerance among the 2 post-conflict societies. Before you set off on your bike, you should note that some places in the video are accessible only by bike or car, and not by public transport. This may be another reason to map out your trip on 2 wheels. Now it's time to visit a popular event in the village of Kopačevo, Fisherman's Days. This event takes place in early September, when this village, which is usually peaceful and quiet, suddenly becomes packed with people. Locals prepare fish dishes and exhibit traditional fishing tools in order to present their old way of life. In the past, only few people in the village worked as farmers, as there was so much fish around. However, everything changed when the nature park Kopački Rit was proclaimed and traditional fishing came to an end. The main specialties of Fisherman's Days are carp on a fork and the famous fish stew. You can also equip yourself with local products dance to traditional Croatian music, or maybe Hungarian music. Many Hungarians live in this area, whereas the bigger part of the historic region of Baranya belongs to Hungary, following the post-World War I division. After a fine carp on the fork, locals say that you simply have to add some wine, so that the carp wouldn't think it was eaten by a pig.
These charming houses not only look cute, but they also have a secret if you enter inside.
They are actually wine cellars, partially carved in a hill behind them. Cellars bring us to number 3 on our list: wine tasting. Almost every house in this street in Zmajevac has a wine cellar, and you can stop by several tasting rooms. Once a year, even a wine marathon is held there, but take care, it's only for the tough ones. The most of the wine comes from this hill.
Baranya is mostly famous for the production of white wine varieties.
The popular sorts are Graševina, also known as Welsh Riesling, and Chardonnay. After a tour of the vineyards, you can visit several great wineries. Even if you're not really a wine person, walking around a cellar which is almost 500 years old is something you shouldn't miss. This wine cellar is located in Kneževi Vinogradi, and it belongs to the company Belje. The barrels, which are made of the finest oak, are really impressive. Individual guided tours start on every full hour, and afterwards you can proceed to the tasting room. Just keep in mind that the cellar is closed on Sundays. If you return with a bottle of premium wine as a present, I'm sure your friends and family will love you a lot. Number 2 on the list is a visit to the nature park Kopački Rit. It is one of the most important wetlands in Europe and a major stopover for many birds on their way from and to Africa. Birds basically stop by to grab a few meals. Similarly, fish species come here to spawn, whereas tourists mostly come to explore the visitor center and the wooden walking trails.
The beauty of the wetlands is best revealed on a boat tour starting from Lake Sakadaš.
You can also take a ride in a smaller boat or on a little tourist train. The nature park protects a large number of rare and endangered species. However, keep in mind that the warmer it is, the fewer animals you'll see. Besides, wild boars or deer are not really crazy about posing for your Instagram photos. Wild animals run away when they hear people and the boats coming. So what you can expect to see are mostly birds. By the way, the main goal of the nature park is protection and not entertaining visitors. As mosquitoes are also protected there, it might be useful to bring a mosquito repellent in case you plan to visit in late spring and early summer. And now, without further ado, let's find out what number 1 is. Although I've already described several activities which center around food, number 1 brings us to touring the best local restaurants. Many would agree that traditional cuisine is a top reason to visit Baranya. Similarly to Hungary, locals tend to put red peppers to nearly all meals. Luckily, there are spicy and sweet versions. Several specialties have already been described in the video, and others include dishes made of freshwater fish, venison, or dishes almost forgotten in modern-day cuisine. The food is often cooked on an open fire, and its tempting smell will surely attract you to stop by local restaurants. The most of them offer traditional ambience. With food made fresh from the scratch, you will certainly savor their specialties. After that, I hope you're ready to create your own perfect itinerary. Enjoy your meal and enjoy your stay in Baranya.